I'm Shane. This is Cindy.
Yeah.
Welcome back once again to What Does Shane and Cindy Do Next? So today we're going to discuss something that I find is very important and it needs to be discussed. It is something that happens a lot in families of all different statures, all different financial backgrounds. It is something that it is left unsaid. So
It's always a secret.
always a secret.
Yeah.
So stick around, stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, thumbs up, and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys are still there. That's great. Alright, so what we're going to discuss is this topic. Why is it that a family would throw out, expel, abandon, what other word I can use?
Abandon. Abandon. Yeah.
Right? A child, their child who is gay, but yet would rather either accept or hide, cover up, look for excuses, ignore the child molester in the family.
And this happens a lot. You know, I've heard of several cases where this happens. So
it's something that I think that it needs to be discussed because it happens a lot in all different families, be it rich, poor, high society, low class, whether you're living in the city, the suburbs, the ghettos, it happens. And no one says anything about it. And when people decide to talk about it, right, a little bit of money goes a long way. Or a little bit of hush money, I should say, goes a long way. Right? Or the family is either so ashamed that they don't say anything.
or they deny it completely.
Completely denied.
You know?
You even have a child falling victim, right? And being accused of lying, being accused of trying to mess up a happy home when you have the uncle, the aunt, the stepfather, the stepmother, the father, the mother, the grandparents, the
Everyone.
the cousin, the brother, the whole family, right, can be a molester. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with a child that's under 10. It could be a teenager. It could actually be someone who is an adult who is still being molested. So what I want to do, or what we are going to do, right, is going to discuss that. We're going to discuss why we think these things happen, touch base on what, how we can see the signs, what to do, or what we think you should do,
And
right?
how to better deal with the situation, you know, on a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this totally candid, right? So in other words, there's no script. It's not written down. It is just pure energy, pure thoughts,
Unrehearsed.
unrehearsed.
Yeah, it's just our thoughts on that whole situation, you know. So yeah.
Right. So to begin, there are several reasons as to why we think, or why I think, that someone would start to molest a child. You have pedophiles or certain persons who would see a young girl or a young boy who is starting to develop, right? And especially with a young girl, when they are starting to sprout breast and the maturity is starting to that you have men or even women, right, be it father, uncle, whatever, who find themselves attracted to that. It may not
Young people.
and it may not necessarily just be the child, right? Sometimes it could just be the mere fact that this child is just so pleasant and so
friendly, genuinely, as you know, young children would be very friendly, and you know, they don't really care about anything because they don't have that kind of knowledge to be careful around, you know,
or that thought.
yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm certainly sure that you've seen children who would come and hug, hug the uncle, hug your cousin, whatever and stuff like that, sit on his lap, you would find these molesters, right, normally want to play around the children all the time or be around, or
always buying them things, always want to bring things for them, asking them what do they want and all of these things. These are just little cues to look out for. I'm not saying that everyone who does it is a child molester, obviously,
right.
But most of them, they do those things,
Keep your eyes open.
They want to get the children stuff, or they might have done something to the child already and they want to buy them stuff to keep them quiet about it,
Right. So I find that never trust anyone around your children. It doesn't matter who they are. Do not trust people around your children.
Not just people, your family, your family also. For me, I don't have kids yet, but my eyes will be wide open when I decide to have a child with him. I'm not saying that he is a child molester, he's not, but that's to show you how careful that I would be if I have a child, Baby, I love you.
I love you too. Love you too. It ain't gonna happen.
Yes, it's not going to happen, but these are the people you should be mindful of. The very close ones, the ones that might possibly see the children, in any naked light, if I should put it that way.
True.
Yeah. So, these are the people, the uncles, the close relatives. It's not only males, females are that way also, but most times they're males, huh?
Most times. That's the thing. Most times it's the males are the ones who are highlighted, right? But females do it just the same. There are women out there, and mind you, it's not an adult. It's not always an adult, right? A child molester may also just be a child as well, preying on a younger child.
Yeah.
You understand?
Trying to experiment.
So.
Because at that age, the children are just trying to figure out themselves. They have all those hormones running through them, and they want to figure out stuff, and they end up doing things that they shouldn't do.
Oh, actually, you do have some children who are way advanced, way advanced.
Yeah, but those are special cases.
Way advanced, and it doesn't matter what age.
And sometimes, those who are way advanced, most times they've had people molesting them. So it's like a cycle, it's a cycle continuing and continuing, because that is what
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, parents and persons who have children around them, be mindful of what you watch or what you allow them to see, right? Certain adult movies which involves a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Intimacy, right? A lot of touchy-feely and stuff like that. Be mindful of children watching
because
bare naked
children,
bodies.
yeah, because children they imitate the parents. They imitate everything that they experience. They try to do it themselves. So you will see just something as simple as that. A child will see her father walking with his hand, or his father walking with his hand in his pocket, and walking at a certain pace, or just walking in general, and he will do the exact same thing and walk behind you
because it looks cool.
Yeah, because you his parent, and that is what he's seeing you doing, so he thinks that it's okay.
Right. So be mindful how you touch your partner in front of your children, right? Be mindful of how you interact with him or her,
even what you call your partner, because your child might hear you call your husband or wife as, for example, James, and the child will call the father James because that is what the mother is calling the father, James. So he said, James, I'm sure you've experienced that before. The children, before they start calling you mommy and daddy, they'll call you by your first name.
And you're like, what?
I know, right? It's like,
hell no.
It's like the most shocking thing. I've seen it before, you know. It's like the most shocking thing. They're calling you your first name. So
you gotta be mindful of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do keep in mind, right? Be very mindful of, like I said, of who you bring around your children, right? That new boyfriend or that new girlfriend, right?
Yeah, you need to do your homework on them.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Ask about them. Ask around what kind of person they are, right? Never be so willing to leave your new boyfriend
with the child
unattended so quickly, because you don't know the intention. In front of you, right? They'll be all nice, you know, love the kids, they play with the kids, no problem. But you leave them with the children alone, right? There's no telling what might happen.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen those horror stories, you know, God forbid. Those people, they will pay for all the things that they do. You know, I don't want to go in depth.
We're going in depth.
We're going in depth.
Because it needs to be spoken about.
I have seen male, they actually, you know, the woman came home and she keeps seeing sugar around the child's mouth, you know, and she's wondering, you know, why the child had sugar around her mouth. And it's like, it wasn't on one occasion or two occasions, you know. And every time, until she decided to put a camera in the house. And then you'd never imagine what
say it needs to be said.
Yeah, the man, you know, the children, they love the taste of the sugar, so obviously they will lick it. So the man used to put sugar on his, put the sugar on there and introduce it in the child's mouth, so the child would be licking the sugar off of.
About how old was the child then?
It was a young child, still in the crib, you know, very young child, you know. At that age, the child cannot speak, the child cannot say anything. It's just that the mother was suspicious about that.
No, that's the thing.
How would you take that as a parent? How would you feel that the man that you entrust to keep an eye on your kid?
No, you see, here's the
would
thing.
Do that? I mean, come on.
You see, I'll tell you why. You see, a lot of persons, like I said, they cover up the child molester, because that child molester might be the one, you know, bringing in the money.
Yeah, taking care of you.
That child molester might be the one who is paying for your children to go to school, right? Buying the groceries, doing this and doing that. That child molester might be the one that you may think you are so in love with,
that you're blinded.
That you're blinded by
what's right in front of you.
So don't say anything, because if you do, and that person finds himself in problems, right? Where are you getting your next meal from? Yeah,
so that child molester might be the one abusing you as a parent, you know. So if you cannot even help yourself, how will you help your kids? You know, there are just terrible men out there, and they
not just men alone, love, not men alone. Because,
well, I'm speaking from a female perspective, so you will speak from the male perspective.
No, I mean, no, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
it's just that I believe that, you know, if you just say men, right, I don't want anyone to have the mindset that you know, it's every single man on the planet is a molester.
Individual, male or female. Let's just clarify that, male or female.
Right, because even you as a woman or as a mother with your children there, and your girlfriend may come home, right? I mean, your girlfriend, not necessarily your intimate girlfriend, but one of your friends, one of your female friends come home, and they could be the one molesting your child. They could be the one molesting either your son or your daughter. You understand? It is one that don't always look at the man. Sometimes the men are totally innocent. Sometimes the men actually genuinely love and want to protect their children from that. There's a lot of men out there, right, who do not support that, who do not agree with that, and would never find themselves in that situation.
But the majority,
what I was going to say,
and you will agree with me, people, the majority are...
No, the majority that are caught
are men.
Because of the fact that it's a man. To hear that a woman is molesting my son, or a woman is molesting my daughter, it is something that is not really heard of, right? It is something that is easily brushed aside because, okay, how could a woman be the molester? How could a woman be the rapist? Right?
It happens, but
That's
the
the thing.
majority is the men.
The majority that are caught are men.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
I still believe the majority are men. Yeah? The majority are men.
The majority caught are men. Right? Other points that come to mind is the fact that some persons come from poor neighborhoods and poor families, right? Or even in high society. And if you have a name, if everyone knows your name, right? To know that your child is gay, right? Your child is gay. The shame, the taboo put upon it, right? You rather not associate yourself with your own child, which I think is bad. It's hard for a man to hear, okay, you know what, my son is gay. My son is into men, right? As a man who is straight, right? Straight heterosexual, to know that his son is, homosexual. I want to give a big respect, a big shout out to everyone in the LGBTQRWXYZ, right? Everyone who has decided to come out of the closet, everyone who is still in the closet, once you've made that choice, or once you feel that this is who you are, this is your life, that you choose to be with the same sex, right? Big shout out, big respect to you. I know it's hard, right? I know it can be hard. I know it's stereotypical of a lot of persons, and you all are still fighting the battle. So shout out to everyone who is gay, lesbian, bisexual, right? So many different things. It is who you are. It is your right to be who you want to be and who you want to be in love with, right? So let's just get that out of the way.
But I think if you can hide a child molester, you might as well accept your child if he's gay or if she is gay, because they're one in the same thing. Don't you think?
Oh.
Because if you want to hide a child molester, you should accept your child if he's gay, shouldn't you?
Oh, okay. So in other words, the same rules apply.
Yeah.
Okay. One in the same. I was kind of sorry. No, you said it. Sorry. Here's things. These are my tips, right? That if you think that the person in your family may be a molester, what to look out for. Okay. One, that they always want to be around the children a little bit too much. Two, that they're always touchy-feely with the children. Very huggy and,
They want to be close to the
Right.
child.
Three, that the children look very uncomfortable and uneasy whenever they are around. Look out for that. Right? Four, trust what your child tells you.
Yeah.
If your child tells you that, that Uncle Jack Brown or, cousin so and so,
I don't like Uncle Jack.
right? Or
Sometimes they don't want to say everything all in once, so you have to give them time to speak up, because they might be so traumatized that they don't really want to just come out there and tell you that, because parents, they don't listen. Some parents, I'm not all, some parents, they don't listen to the children, so the child wants to speak to you, and they already know that you're just gonna shut them out, so they just don't say anything. They just give you little cues like, I don't like Uncle Jack, or Uncle Ben, I don't want to go by Uncle Ben. No, I don't want, because maybe you might send them there for the weekends or whatever. So if the child says he doesn't want to go by Uncle Ben, and you want to send the child by Uncle Ben because you want to go out on the weekend, stay home with your child and don't go out, and don't send the child to Uncle Ben, because
trust your child.
yes, because the child doesn't want to go by Uncle
Child.
Ben. Sometimes they're not just being rude. They're honestly telling you that they don't want to go by Uncle Ben.
Right? And even if you find it difficult to trust your child, do your homework, right? At least have the benefit of the doubt, right? Do not be so quick to snap at your child. Do not be so quick to chastise or punish your child for saying how they feel about a particular individual in the family. Right? Be mindful of that. Because once you do that now, it prevents a child from opening up to you, right? And letting you know that, hey, this is what is happening to me. So be mindful of that. There's one thing I forgot to mention, which I find is very important. If you treat your child bad if they say that they're gay, right? If you fail to protect your child from a molester, right? Do not exclude the fact that there is potential for that child to commit suicide. And that is something that has happened before on several occasions with several persons. The last time there was this boy who wrote a suicide note.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was gay and the family didn't like him for that.
And nobody listened to him, you know. I don't think anyone gave him any attention. And, you know, suicide is like another level.
So that's serious
Always,
matters.
you know, you have to be so especially those persons who are gay. Suicide is like the first thing that they turn to after so long after a long time of being ridiculed and
chastised, bullied,
yeah,
exiled.
Yeah, by everyone that they thought should protect them and care for them. This is like the next best thing. It's like dying is the next best thing.
Also, someone who is being molested and is not protected
this might be the reason why they became gay. Don't you think?
It could fall into that one of those reasons as well.
Yeah.
Because there's several reasons as to why someone is gay or has chosen that life. Right? There's several different reasons which we may just do a video about.
Yeah, because you know this is very deep. It's like, you know, there are so many possibilities in this topic of when you compare a molester and a child being gay and everything around it. It's like they're all connected somehow, you know. So
there's so many different reasons. You know, there's also a case of a child who did commit suicide when no one believed them, right, when they spoke about their molester. So families, friends, whoever, teachers, anybody, right? Be mindful of who is around your child. Be mindful of what your child says and does. Be mindful of the behavioral patterns or the changes in the child's be mindful of the change in behavioral pattern of your child or of any child that you are around. Yeah?
Yep.
Be very careful and be very mindful of how you dress your child.
Oh yes, this is very
Right?
This is crucial.
Now, it is true that you don't dress and to a point where you're asking for anything bad to happen to you, right? But do not give anyone the invitation or do not give anyone this misconception, right, that the child is past her age.
Don't allow them to see more than they should.
Right?
You know, because at that age, I don't think there's anything that you should expose on a child.
Keep a child looking like a child. Do not have a child who is 8 years old or 10 years old with lipstick, weave, short skirt, short tight top, tight clothing. Do not do that. Keep a child a
Because
child.
because there are those praying those people out there. I don't want to say
The
men,
sickos.
but they're really really messed up in there, and they look, they would follow you and do the worst things you'd never imagine that a sane person would do. They would do it because the moment their eyes are on you, that's it.
Don't do that. Right? Another tip, if your child does not want to hug or kiss auntie or uncle so and so, do not force your child to do it.
Yep.
Do not force your child to go and hug and kiss that person. Do not force your child to stay with that person if your child is uncomfortable. Find someone who your child is comfortable with before you do that. Allow the child to let you know, hey, I am comfortable staying with this person and with that person.
Yeah.
Always ask your children, another tip, always ask your children, right, how is this person treating you?
And even in saying that, yes, they might sometimes be comfortable, still do your homework, because at a certain age, children don't know what's right and wrong. All they know that, oh, Uncle Ben is giving me a lot of sweets. Uncle Ben buys me stuff. Yeah, they might want to go there all the time,
Right.
until that very moment where Uncle Ben wants his reward and he decides to.
Exactly.
Yeah, so still do your homework,
Or to say it wrong, Uncle Ben is playing a game with me called Touch My Willy, that he doesn't want anyone for me to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Be mindful.
Secrets.
Be mindful.
Yep.
It is very easy for a molester to play an innocent game and make that innocent game be the most sexual thing ever. But don't tell your parents, don't tell your mother or your father that we're playing that game. It's our little secret.
Yep.
Always talk to your children. Always be able to ask your children what is going on when you're not there. What do you and so do when I'm not there?
Yeah, and you don't really have to be so specific, You just ask them about their day, and you take it one at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time. You ask them, how was the day? What did you like the most about the day? You don't have to just
interrogate them.
Because a child,
What did he do? Did he touch you? Did he touch your hair and there and there and there?
Yeah. You can just, you can ask a question without asking a question, right? Just general questions, and then you if you suspect anything, you get to the bottom of it.
Thing about it is that a child molester will always be a child molester. There's no sense of reform.
Yeah.
It happens, but one or two, but a child molester is always a child molester. So don't think to yourself that, okay, he has or she has changed their ways, so now they're trusting and I can trust my child with that person. Right? It happens. I'm not going to say no. It does happen. But how often does it happen?
Mm-hmm.
How often? There are many persons, you don't bring a recovering alcoholic to work in a bar.
Exactly. Obviously you
you know what I mean?
Straight in there.
Right? I mean, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
But it does happen.
The likelihood of it happening in a bar is like 100%.
Right?
Mm.
Call them out. Call them out. If you suspect that this is happening, if you know that this is happening, do not hide it. Don't shun from it. Call it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Seek help. Seek counseling. Social workers. They're cops. Cops are not always that bad.
Mm-hmm. Say something to a family member. Sometimes the family members they have your back.
Call them out.
If you need some help, always say something. The best thing that you can do is talk about it. Don't keep it in, you know, because this is like a vicious cycle. It will go on and on and on and on and on in your family. It will just keep happening and keep happening, you know, until it's a normal thing.
Until
And the
you made
worst
it
part,
normal.
yeah, and the worst part is that, you know, a child comes out of the act of molestation. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Comes out being a victim of molestation.
Yeah.
But you see,
If a child comes out of that, I mean, what do you do?
that's the thing.
What do
You
you
know,
do? You don't
I
want
guess-
that to happen, so you have to
Yeah, it's
pick
just
it up very early.
it is just to imagine that, you know, your child is now pregnant for their molester in the family
Yeah.
because you refuse to say something about it, because you refuse to call it out when you first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you do? There's one thing I forgot to mention, which I find is very important. If you treat your child bad if they say that they're gay, right? If you fail to protect your child from a molester, right? Do not exclude the fact that there is potential for that child to commit suicide. And that is something that has happened before on several occasions with several persons. The last time there was this boy who wrote a suicide note,
Yeah.
right? Because he was gay and the family didn't like him for that.
And nobody listened to him, you know. I don't think anyone gave him any attention. And, you know, suicide is like another level.
So that's serious
Always,
matters.
you know, you have to be so especially those persons who are gay. Suicide is like the first thing that they turn to after so long of after a long time of being ridiculed and
chastised, bullied,
yeah,
exiled.
yeah, by everyone that they thought should protect them and care for them. This is like the next best thing. It's like dying is the next best thing.
Also, someone who is being molested and is not protected
this might be the reason why they became gay. Don't you think?
It could fall into that one of those reasons as well,
Yeah.
because there's several reasons as to why someone is gay or has chosen that life. All right, there's several different reasons which we may just do a video about.
Yeah,
Let me just
because you know this is very deep.
You know, there's also a case of a child who did commit suicide when no one believed them, right, when they spoke about their molester. So families, friends, whoever, teachers, anybody, right? Be mindful of who is around your child. Be mindful of what your child says and does. Be mindful of the behavioral patterns, well, the changes in a child's be mindful of the change in behavioral pattern of your child or of any child that you are around. Yeah?
Yep.
Any more?
I think we need to do another video on something related to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. So, next video coming up.
Stay tuned.
Stick around.
Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about, you know. We've been contemplating what to speak about for the longest time.
And we find out this one has to be said.
Yeah.
It had to be said.
It's very serious and it happens a lot more than we know because it's always a secret. You know, it's always a secret. It's always kept a secret. It's always in the family. There's always a secret in the family.
So, without further ado, this is Shane.
I'm Cindy, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye. You tried to get me there.
I tried. Alright guys, so thanks a lot for staying with us. Thanks a lot for listening. Please like, share, comment.
And subscribe to our channel.
Click the bell.
And click that notification bell so you can get more updates. Yeah.
Click the bell.
Click the bell.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Like.
And
comment.
share. Okay, we are.
Bye.